So, first time talking to you since you won your title. Talked to you a little bit online, but it's the first time in person. So now that a few weeks have gone by, how does it feel?
About what? The MLG or?
Yeah, MLG Dallas.
It was quite exciting the first few weeks, but it's not so important to me now. Like, I will always remember the win, but I need to win more now. So.
Now, you didn't seem so excited when you won the title. You know, there's a famous quote, which is actually the new interview from Team Liquid. So looking back on it, I mean, and your response just now is, it's okay. So how do you feel about your own demeanor and thoughts about these types of things?
No, I don't think that's true. But when I said it's okay, it was when I won the semi-final. I've already come top 4 and top 3 in a lot of tournaments, so I was just very nervous about playing the final and finally winning a big tournament. I was actually so shocked that I won that I couldn't describe my feelings.
So did you really not think that you were going to win?
I just came second and third so many times now that I kind of forgot about winning, to be honest. So I didn't really think about it at all.
Was Kiwi Cocky getting into your head on top of that?
After the second game, when he proxied a pile into my base, I was a bit scared, to be honest. I didn't want it to end like that. I wanted to take my first big win, so I was a bit scared then, but before that I was not scared.
You were able to gain your composure, go into the next games. How do you think you were able to accomplish that?
Actually, when I lost Show and Select, they ran up on stage, which made me forget everything about the game, so I could just recharge and start again fresh. So I think that's why. So
your teammates have really helped you on the trip to Dallas?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think you would have been able to do it without your teammates?
I can't possibly know that.
Well, now that you're the #1 seed going into Columbus, you came to Dallas out of the open bracket, went 28-2, remarkable feat, someone that really hasn't been done before. You're the #1 seed now. You have a lot of pressure going into this next event. Do you think you can handle the pressure?
The pressure doesn't really affect me anymore. Ever since I won MLG, everyone expects me to win every game, but I don't think that will happen. But I hope I can start with a TSL win, and then from there on go and win more tournaments. I think it will all depend on my momentum. Until
Do you think if you don't have a good start in Columbus, it'll hurt you going forward? Do you have to have a good start?
The difference from now and then is that now I know that I can win against anyone at any time. So I can always start over again. Unlike then, I didn't have any confidence, any title, any wins. But now I know that I'm a good player, so it doesn't really affect me anymore.
Is there a difference between now having to do championship bracket groups than the open bracket before you just had to go through one straight bracket? Do you find it easier or harder now that you're going to have to play tougher players early on in the tournament?
I think this is a huge advantage because now I know what opponent I will be playing, so I can prepare for each match before. I think it will be a lot easier for me.
So even though you went 28-2 all the way through the open bracket, you find it easier to play if you're able to prepare for your opponents?
I think I had some luck in the open bracket, to be honest. If I would have gotten like Huck or Hey-Pro early on, it might have been a different story, but I always prefer to be able to prepare.
There's a lot of dominance lately with the Warcraft 3 scene. A lot of the Warcraft 3 players have just moved over into StarCraft 2, even more so than the ex-Brood War players. Why would you think that is so far?
Well, I have my theory, in Europe at least, that the Warcraft players who switched have played a lot of tournaments, including money and such, while the Brood War players haven't played at all. They only had the TSL, as far as I know, for their entire year, and then the same. But while we were always playing in big clan leagues for money, tournaments and so on, so I think we can handle the pressure, and we know how to prepare for a tournament, unlike them.
So you feel that during those years that Warcraft 3 was really big on the international scene, you had a lot of LAN tournaments, a lot of online tournaments, that precedence of having that tournament experience overrides the Brood War players who played a similar game but didn't have as much big LAN experiences besides the TSL that went on.
Yeah, also that, but we were forced to improve our skill because, of course, everyone wants to win the money. So the opponents always trained more. Since there was no reason to train in Brood War, I suppose they didn't reach their full potential. So I think we're a lot further on the scale to know how to improve.
So you think the Warcraft 3 players actually train harder than the Brood War guys?
It's not really about training harder, more than knowing how to improve in the game. We always knew how to be better, how to train to achieve the results, but they didn't have any reason to do that. So.
Do you think you might be less stubborn with mechanics in the game or changes that are made because you don't have a preconceived hardcore Brood War background?
I think that's one of the big advantages they have, that StarCraft 2 is so similar to Brood War in terms of mechanics and such, but once we catch up, I'm sure that we will be a lot better than them.
So not only is the Warcraft 3 scene really surging in StarCraft 2, you and your home country, Sweden, has just been dominating, almost every tournament, so much so to make Rakaka put a big Sweden flag and your national anthem on their front page. What do you attest all of this to?
I don't really know why Sweden especially, but we had a lot of great Warcraft players, and most of them are the ones playing now as well. For example, me, Thorzain, Sase, but against and Show as well, of course.
And Jinra.
He was a Brood War player, but he's good as well, of course, and Moro too. But I think it's because of that mainly.
Do you think you're the best country outside of Korea?
Yeah, for sure.
Is this by a large margin, do you feel?
I think Ukraine is also good, but I think we would win.
So is it anything about the environment of competitive gaming and esports in Sweden that has made it so that the players can get so good more than so in the other countries? Because it doesn't, that seems to be one of the biggest, Sweden out of all of Europe, maybe Germany too, has a very large esports population. Do you think that's fueled everything?
I really don't have any clue why, but that sounds like a true reason. But then again, Germany have not been so good, in my opinion. They have soccer, but that's all.
That's all.
Maybe TLO, but...
well, now the 1.33 patch is out. I'm sure you're thrilled.
I think the Thor change is good, obviously, especially for me. But I'm really disappointed about the Protoss against Protoss changes. They didn't help anything. So I hope Blizzard will really try the next time to fix it.
Well, you had one of the best PvPs in the world, as shown at Dallas. How much do you think it'll change your game going forward now?
It won't really change a lot. I've played some games, and 4-Gate is still extremely strong. They need to change it more, but for my game, I will be able to perform the same way.
Are you going to have to change tactics up, PvP, or across the board, or at all, for the TSL3 Finals and MLG Columbus?
For the TSL Final, I won't have to change PvP, obviously, but for MLG, I will have to change some, but not a lot, unfortunately.
What about PvT and PvZ?
PvC won't change a lot. PvT, it won't change a lot either.
So you feel pretty confident going in with your same strats?
The only change is the sentry, 5 seconds, and then 20-second warp gate. It's not a major change.
Okay, well, finally, you just mentioned in your Team Liquid interview that after MLG Dallas, you got a bit down, and you realized that it was an important part of your life, but that you want to become the first Bonjour of StarCraft 2. Now, there's only been 3 or 4 in the history of StarCraft 1. Do you think that you will be able to achieve this?
I wouldn't try for it if I didn't think I could do it. So I will obviously do my best. I think it would be a waste if I didn't try to at least reach my most potential. So I will do what I can.
And so included in this, do you think you're going to win MLG Columbus?
I hope so. I don't see why not.
Well, as you came over at MLG Dallas, you played more American players than you ever had in any other tournament because you're here in America. Now you're going to be coming back to Columbus. What was your general thoughts of the skill level when you came to Dallas?
Obviously, I think Kiwikaki, for example, Hydra and Select are extremely good. I think they can be matched against the best from Europe as well. But the general skill, I think, is a lot lower than they realize. They seem to think a lot more highly about themselves than they should. That's just what I feel. So
do you think, I mean, you don't think the European and American scene is equal?
I don't think anyone thinks it's equal. Because, for example, Druby and such, they ladder on Europe because they say it's harder. So
you feel that the Europeans really are at a higher skill level than the Americans right now?
The general players, yeah, like the big population. Yeah, I think so.
What about the top end?
I think the top is quite equal, but I think Europe has a small edge still.
So going into Columbus, would you say that you fear the other European players coming over more than the American players?
It depends who's good when it comes. Like, there might be someone who's really good from America. I think Kiwikaki can do well, always, and Hydra too, especially after his IPL win. But there are more Terran players in Europe that are really good, against Proto especially. So I think they will be a bit harder for me. So,
if there's one player that you fear going into Columbus, who would it be?
If there's one person I fear the most, then I would say Thorzain.
Why Thorzain?
He's extremely good against Protoss especially, because he had to practice for Tyler and MC. So I think he's well prepared.